How's it going, troops? My name's Ewan Hepburn, and today I'm going to be discussing something that's caused a lot of confusion, and a lot of people still seem to be struggling to understand how it's going to work, but the idea of it will become clearer once it kicks off. And I am talking about, of course, the European qualification process for the Euro 2020 and then for the World Cup thereafter, and so on and so forth. So essentially the plan for the European teams when it comes to qualification is actually a lot more straightforward than you realise, but it's just the way it's been delivered and explained hasn't been particularly clear, so hopefully this will make it clearer for you and will make it give you a better understanding of it. So the way it works is we kick off with the Nations League on the 7th of September, which is next Thursday, so it's less than a week to go. And what it does is it's taken the 55 UEFA nations, 55 now that Kosovo have joined us as well. It takes those 55 nations and divides them up evenly into four, well, not evenly at all, it's not even, into four different leagues. So in League A there's 12 teams, League B there's 12 teams, League C there's 15, and then League D it's 16, as you can see, not particularly even. But quality wise they are quite even because it's done entirely off of coefficient rankings. So the likes of England and Spain and Germany and whatever, they're all in League A, and then you got the likes of Scotland, Slovenia in League C, which is a bit disappointing, but you know, you have to put up with these things. Once these teams have been divided up into their leagues, each individual league is split up into four groups. Now in League A it's four groups of three, the same with League B. League C has got one group of three, which is the one that Scotland's in, and then three groups of four. Whereas then in League D you've got four groups of four because it's just an even split. The teams will play each other home and away, and will obviously be awarded points. So it's 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw, nothing for a loss. It's the same as it was before. There's no penalty shootout points. There's none of the sort of the Betfred Cup nonsense that we've had recently in Scotland. Although I do like the Betfred Cup's new process, but that's not the point. That's not what I'm here to discuss. The group winners from Leagues B, C and D will all be promoted into their respective league for the next season. So the group winners in League B will go up to League A, and then group winners in League C will go up to League B, and so on and so forth. Whilst also the teams that finish bottom of their group in the Leagues A, B and C will be relegated down to the league below there, so A down to B, B down to C, C down to D. And that's basically, once you have your group winners there from the UEFA Nations League, that's them. So you've got your group winners and you can just keep them in mind. So let's say, for example, Scotland, Greece, Slovenia all win their group, and England win their group, and Norway win their group, or whatever. You know, they're safe as group winners. They're safe. They're in the playoff stage. We're going to store them away for later. But in June 2019, there is obviously a trophy to be played for, because the UEFA Nations League isn't just, you know, a concept to change up the qualifications lately. It's actually to bring friendlies into a more competitive sense. It gives that more of a fighting chance. It's why it takes place every 2 years, to remove friendlies and to give this competitive edge to international football again. Which, you know, sometimes it does seem to be lacking, and I don't really see the point in those friendlies. I remember staying up and watching Scotland get humped off in Mexico 3 in the morning, and I'm sat watching going, why am I watching this? We're getting humped off in Mexico. But, you know, I did it because dedication, but some people don't have that kind of dedication. They just want to watch the competitive games, and so that's fair play to them. But of course, because now it's competitive, we have two one-leg semi-finals which will take place between the four group winners in League A. So, for instance, I think it's going to be Italy, Belgium, Germany and England. And let's say it's Italy versus Belgium and then Germany versus England. And I think I said no, that's not going to work at all, based on what I've predicted. But that's fine. Yeah, so let's say it's that, and then Belgium win and then Germany win, and they both go through to the final. And they will play for the trophy, the UEFA Nations League trophy, in the final, which is again, it's just a one-leg final, and then there's a one-leg third, fourth place playoff, which will take place between England and Italy. And yeah, so the winner of that will be the winner of the UEFA Nations League. It doesn't really matter what happens there. All you're doing there is you're playing for a trophy. You're playing to say, you know, you were the first winner of the UEFA Nations League. which is, because it's still a trophy. That's the whole point of it. You're trying to win the trophy at the end of the day. It's becoming a major competition. So these games were played in June 2019, and they are still group winners though. And like leagues B, C, and D, once these finals have been played, we'll store them away with the other group winners, and all 16 of those teams will be remembered for later on. So next up we then come to the European qualifiers. Now the thing with this is that it will be as you remember it. Quite simply, 55 teams, you divide them up into the 10 groups. There will be 5 groups of 5 and 5 groups of 6. And these games will take place between March and November 2019. Is the only difference that we're really going to have, because teams will play each other home and away in their group, and you will play either 10 matches or you will play 8 matches, dependent on what group you're in and how many teams are in your group. So you play each team home and away. The two top teams at the end, so the team that finishes first in the group and the team that finishes second in the group, will qualify for Euro 2020. So that's still the main qualification path. That's still as it was before. That's the primary focus. That's what you want to do. So that's as it was before. Like last year, it was Germany. Last year we had England, Scotland, Slovenia, Slovakia, Lithuania, and Malta all in a group, and England finished top, with Slovakia finishing second, with Scotland in third. Now the only difference this time around with the qualification process, as you will remember it from the last European Championships when Scotland finished fourth behind Republic of Ireland, Poland and Germany, was that the third place team, which in our group was the Republic of Ireland, they went into a playoff game, and it was a third place playoff, so the worst third place team didn't play because they just sort of qualified automatically, but then the remaining 8 teams all went together and played against each other. But that was simply because we had a host for the European Championships, and so it was because of the way that the groups were divided. But the third place team went into a playoff. It was that simple. Now the fact of the matter is you don't get that. You've got the top 2 teams will qualify automatically for the Euro 2020, and the 10 groups, the top 2 teams from the 10 groups will make up 20 of the 24 teams at the Euros. Now this is obviously, it's much more difficult now, because obviously you don't have that third place to bank on as like a sort of a safety in the event that you don't make first or second. It's now first or second or nothing. You don't get anything. You just need to hope that you get in the playoffs at the Nations League, because that's what matters at this stage. But obviously, so you're sat in a situation, you finish top 2, you go through. If you don't, you're done. That's it. So that will make the first 20 teams. Now we then move on rather swiftly back to the UEFA Nations League, and the UEFA Nations League has taken the 16 group winners from each group, and they will all be battling it out for the final 4 spots, because obviously, like I say, through the normal European Championship path you've had 20 of the 24 teams decided, but you've still got 4 spots remaining that they will be battled for by the 16 group winners from the UEFA Nations League. Now the issue beforehand though is that in the event that, say, a group winner has already qualified automatically from the European Championship, European qualifications, the next best ranked team in their league will move up and take their place in as a group winner. So let's say by some miracle Scotland qualify and they then manage to go through, but they won their group as well. So then let's say Greece just missed out on qualification, but they were the next best ranked team in the league, so they would then move up into Scotland's spot and they would be allowed to compete there. It does get more complicated still though, because then let's say that in the event that you find yourself with 9 of the 12 teams from League A all qualify, but then you've only got 3 group winners. So then not only is that an odd number, it's just you need to make up the numbers there. So you need to have 4, and what we'll do is you'll take a team from League B, the next best ranked team that hasn't qualified as a group winner in League B will move up and be given the chance to try and qualify through the League A playoffs. And the same could happen with leagues B and C as well. Obviously League D, it's the same principle, but the chances of you running out of teams in League D to make up for it is incredibly unlikely. Let's be honest. Yeah. But anyway, that's not the point. So the point is, you now have your 16 teams, obviously removed the teams that have already qualified, and you've still got 16 teams left who, based on how well they did in the UEFA Nations League. I should clarify that the ranking is simply based on how they did in the UEFA Nations League. It's not their coefficient ranking. So it's how well they did in the Nations League. They put them in like a big table on their league, and they say, well, this team did better than this team, but this team did better than them, so this team's now going to go up and go through there. So each league will have a team qualify because the paths are divided up. So League A will have a path, League B will have a path, League C will have a path, and League D will have a path. And so only one League A team will qualify, one League B team will qualify, one League C team will qualify, and one League D team will qualify. Each team with one team from each league qualifying. You could have a situation where you've got two League B teams qualifying or two League C teams qualifying, but again, that's if you've got a League C team who has been bumped up simply because of who has qualified from each group, and they've been bumped up as the next best ranked team that hasn't qualified as a group winner for their own league, and then they just, I don't know, maybe got incredibly lucky in the group state, in the playoff round, I don't know. The playoff round itself is two-leg semi-finals, which no, it's not. It's two one-leg semi-finals, and they will be decided based on the team that did better in the Nations League. So let's say Scotland finished on 12 points and Slovenia finished on 10, and Scotland and Slovenia were drawn together, then Scotland would be considered the home side. They would be the home side, and so Slovenia would come at Hampden, we'd play them at Hampden, and then the winner would then go through to the final. Now the location of the final is decided simply by a draw, so it's just like the winner of semi-final 1 or the winner of semi-final 2. It's just one leg, just to try and speed things up, just make it nice and swift, and that's quite simply how it works. You know, you've then got the two teams in the final, and the winner of the final will then go through and join the other 24 teams in there. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully that I mean, it doesn't sound particularly clear. The way I've described it probably hasn't helped you at all. If it has done, then, you know, all the best to you. But it's, and I'm pleased. It's sort of what I was trying to do. But I wouldn't blame you if you found it too complicated or whatever. But anyway, point is that I think this will be beneficial for Scotland in particular, you know, because obviously we're starting off in League C, so we've got it quite easy at the minute. We've got Albania and Israel, teams that we should beat, and then we'll go to the playoffs, and Greece and Slovenia and the likes, you know, we beat them in the past. Greece aren't exactly on good form. Slovenia are a team that we beat last season at home. We drew away, and you know, these are, you know, we're looking better at the moment, I would say, and it's a solid team that we're taking away with us for these UEFA Nations League games. So I feel like we could do alright, and we'll qualify from the playoffs. We won't qualify from our group because we'll get drawn with the likes of like Germany and Portugal or whatever, and it'll be incredibly tough for us, and I would be amazed if we somehow managed to qualify from our European qualification group. But the Nations League means that we might actually get to a major tournament. I have never seen us in a major tournament. I'm 19. The last major tournament we made it to was 98 in France, and I wasn't even born yet. So never seen Scotland at a major tournament. I'm hoping that changes with Euro 2020 and with the introduction of the Nations League, which I think is a brilliant introduction. But anyway, yes, so thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully you found this easy to understand, and hopefully it's good for you and it works for you. If it does, then feel free to like it and share it about, show other people who are struggling to understand it, because hopefully this will help to explain it. I mean, obviously it'll become clearer once the actual Nations League starts up, but as things stand right now, it's good to have an understanding before you go into it, I think, because then you know what's coming rather than just having a guess as the thing kicks off. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you after.
Suddenly England are rocking. Armstrong still having a look. It slightly favours the right footer here, but Griffiths, having got the goal, goes again!